Hello, welcome. In today's episode, we're just going to continue with our software. We continue building, and in this episode, we are going to see how the app starts to build up and it takes a big shape, and we start actually performing some crude functions and even more stuff. Okay. So the first thing before I forget is to put these arrows. Okay, if you just remember here, we have to put the inventory, then you put these arrows showing that there is actually a drop down. If you check in our app, we didn't put that icon that shows the drop down onto these ones which have the drop downs. Okay, so I'm just going to, first of all, you can just go to Lucid icons and we can get the, I think it must be in the chevron. So you can just use one of these ones, and it is this chevron, right? So I'm just going to try to figure out where we have that. Just go inside the sidebar. So I'm just going to go to components dashboard, and I'm just going to go to sidebar. And on the sidebar, let's look at we have, for instance, where we have the sidebar drop down link, and we can just go to this drop down link, and then we have where we have the title, which is this one, and the icon. So in this very div here, we're just going to use a flex. Okay, we're just going to use a flex. This one, I'm seeing it has, we had only put these two icons. So what we can just do is that we can place a flex here, and inside here we can have these icons. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this, whatever was there, I'm just going to add it here. Okay, and then outside here, so I have this div, and now I will have another div which is having the icon. So this one is chevron right. Okay, just add the chevron right, just like that. Let's see if we need to give it some class names. So just give it this class name, and we can even reduce this one. Anyways, let's first leave it. We can just go ahead and we can go ahead and add here flex justify between, also items center. Okay, and let's check. Okay, let's see if it will just add this icon here. Okay, so it has added the icon, and I can just give this one maybe a BG so that we see what is happening here. BG red, maybe, see what is happening. Okay, so they are having the width of that. I don't know if I can give them width is full. We just removed something here. Let me see. Okay, so that is okay. Now we have the icons at the extreme end. Okay, so I can now go ahead and remove this BG. Okay, so we're now fine. Okay, let me see now. Okay, so this is what we want. Want the icon to be at the extreme end, so that this stuff, we are not going to make it. Let me see here. To change the direction, you can just go and work on that. If it is expanded, I'm just going to leave it just like that. Okay, great. So that one is done. So the first thing today you are going to work on is these items. Really working on adding some of these items. For instance, adding a new product. We want to add these new products, to add a new product. So to understand these, the inventory, I prepared some simple notes we are going to go through, and these new notes are going to help us to understand the modules in details. Okay, so the system itself has a lot of modules. As you can see, we have a lot of modules going on into this app. We have the inventory module, we have the sales module, the purchase module, integrations, reports, and documents. So these are the modules they have in their inventory management system. Okay, so we are going to see how these modules, will modify them to work for our own system. Okay, the Zoho, they have their own system, and at their level, they have spent a lot of years using this system, and that's why they can do a lot of extensive things on it. Okay, they can do a lot of things, extensive things on it. But we're just going to see how we are going to manage, or how we are going to reduce this system to fit in ours. And to do that, we have to first understand our inventory management system, the modules in details. Okay, so the first thing, of course, it will have the dashboard, and the dashboard, even these ones, they are already having the dashboard model under this, under the home. Here is where we have the dashboard, and they have a lot of KPIs here, like the key performance indicators that are going to help them to show the user how their shop is performing. Okay, so we'll have our own KPIs when we reach that site, for instance, showing the inventory levels, some sales, revenue, and others. Okay, so that is the first module, and we work at this one afterwards, when we have some data already inside. Okay, then the biggest module, I think, is the inventory module. Okay, so the inventory module is the one which deals with the items. Okay, so if you can see here, it is this module here that is dealing with items. Now when you click on the item here, you notice that this item, when you're creating a new item, it has a bunch of things that are required to create it. They have a lot of things, and we are not going to put all of them, but at least we'll have most of them. The product name, the SKU, the unit. Okay, the unit, the dimensions, all these ones will have them. Okay, the manufacturers. Okay, but some things like ICBN and what we just get the information that that is more understandable. Okay, so we'll have the inventory module. The first thing in the inventory module is the item. Okay, so the item will have, if you just look at the item, has a lot of things it depends on. For instance, manufacturers, which are suppliers. You will have the brand. Okay, so you can add a brand. Okay, you can add a brand. Then you will have the units, so you can add units. Okay, you can add units, and you're going also to make a model for adding the units so we can add units, pieces, milligrams, milliliters, all that kind of stuff. We are going to add also these units. Okay, so another thing is what, so it has those modules is depending on, and so we'll create those models. So you have the sales model, which is having the customers, the sales, packages, invoices, and shipments. We have the purchase module, we have the reports module. So just going to look at these ones in details. Okay, so we will start with the inventory module, and by the way, the link to this document, I'm just going to leave it in the description so that you have access to this and you can have a look. Okay, so we have the inventory, and in the inventory we have the items, and in these items we can see we need an item name, description, category, SKU, barcode, quantity, unit to be measured in, item brand, unit price, cost price. So you have here the selling price. I think so you're going to call it selling price, and this one you're going to call it buying price. Then we have the supplier, reorder point, location. So you have all these ones. Actually, this one is going to be the warehouse. Okay, so we have the images, then you have the weight, dimensions, tax rate, and all these ones. So you can see we have a lot of fields, and this is going to be a very huge form. Okay, so as you can see, even theirs is a huge one. Okay, so now another thing is that then we have the units, as you saw. Someone can add a unit, and then you have the brand, then we have the categories, so then we have the warehouse. So we start with these few the small ones that don't need a lot of stuff, and then we'll progressively add the other big one. Okay, yeah, so we start with this model, and we're just going to go ahead and add these links on our sidebar. So what we want first is change all these things here, the items, and then we have these ones, and then we'll have also the adjustment. We'll keep there, but then we are going to add more links here. Okay, let me start with that. So on the sidebar, okay, so we have this inventory, and then we have the inventory links. Okay, so what we can just do is I can first go to the dashboard. I go to inventory, and on the inventory we'll have a lot of things here. We have the items, so instead of item groups, just rename this one to categories. Okay, so I'm just going to see this as categories. So inside here we can have categories, and then adjustments, leave it. Let's go ahead and create other things. For instance, we're going to create brands, and then we're also going to create inside here units. Okay, what is, so we have the inventory, they have the units, then the last one is, I think, warehouse. So we can just also add warehouse. Okay, so inside these, let's add some files. So inside this brand, I'm just going to have a page. So you can have page.jsx, and then you can have this page.jsx. I'm just going to copy from like items here. Just I'll be putting this here, items, and call these ones brands. Okay, we can have categories, do the same thing. So inside the categories, I'm just going to rename this one as categories. Okay, and then inside these ones, of course, we'll have the new the folder saying new, where we are going to be showing a list of brands. Okay, so you can just go inside here, create a new folder, new. Okay, and then inside the new you can add the page.jsx. okay, and then you can paste this, and then this one you can just name this one to new brand, just like that. Okay, so we have all these pages. We're just going to do the same thing for categories. Just add a new folder called new, and then inside here I also going to add a page.jsx. okay, and paste this. Just add here new category, okay. So then we have items, new, of course, and then we have units. Let's create two things. You can say page.jsx, and then you can have here new, and then in the new, so here the first one is just going to paste here where we have units, and then we go inside here, we just have a new page.jsx, and then we're just going to go ahead and create here as new unit. Okay, so these ones are going to hold the forms. Okay, so now we have all these links, so let's go and populate these links in the sidebar. So you can just go ahead and close all these pages. Okay, you can just go and close all these pages, and they just simply go to our we have a lot of open files. Let me just close all of them. So on the sidebar, on what they say inventory links, we have the items. Okay, so items is taking us to inventory items, and we have to direct this one to inventory. Inside the inventory, it has to go to, let me just go here, it has to go, for instance, onto items. So you can see we have items, and then items, and then new. Okay, so this is going to be for all of them. I'm just going to copy this. So we have here we have categories, so I'm just going to add categories, and I'm just going to modify this here to add categories, and let's see, we have categories here. Yep, so we have categories, and then we can add more links for brands. So I'm just going to come here, we have brands, we can add brands, and here I'm just going to say brands new. We can just go ahead and add units, and here is units new. We can add warehouse. Okay, and then we have warehouse. Okay, and I think that's it. Those are the ones. Let's see, we have brands, we have categories, we have units, and warehouse. Okay, let's just go and see if these links have added here. So you can see we have all these links. If you click on categories, it should go now to new category. If you click on brands, it should take us to new brand. Okay, where you can create brands. Okay, so this is good. Already we have here all these things working. For the warehouse, let's see what we did in the warehouse. Okay, so we don't have the pages for the warehouse. So in the warehouse, add the page dot jsx. Okay, and you can just go and do RFC and just change this to warehouse. Okay, and we can also just go ahead and put here h2 of warehouse. Okay, just copy this, Ctrl C, and then create a new file, new, and then inside here, let's go and create a new file, page.jsx, and this one is going to be the new warehouse. Okay, just say new warehouse. Okay, so that is great. Okay, so we are here on new warehouse. Okay, so we have all these all our pages here where someone can add a category. Okay, can add brands. You can manage all these things here if you want to add units, and we'll start with the simple ones like categories, brands, units, and warehouse, where someone can add any of these before he adds the categories. Okay, so that is great. Okay, so let's go back to what is next. So the next thing is building the form layer. Okay, how this one is going to work. So we need this header. We have the header, and then we have also this fixed footer, and then inside here we have these the form. Okay, so we can first do that, and I will just have this, of course, the header and this footer. We can just make them to be components. I'm thinking about how they will be components because the save is actually taking the submit. Okay, but nevertheless, let's just start as simple as possible. Okay, let's start as simple as possible. This one, I'm just going to simply I might just not make it close. I will simply call this one a back that takes back to the creation of the items. Okay, that's great. Okay, let me just go to the, let's start with the categories. So I'm just going to first go to these categories, and I will just create a simple layer for this. So let me just go to inventory, and inside the inventory you have the categories. Inside the categories we have the new here. Okay, so that is great. Okay, so we have this new category, and what we want is to put a form here. Okay, so let's talk about forms. So I want to try something new today with the forms, and I will be showing you. I've not used it before, but I think it's going to help us tremendously, save time and other things. Okay, so if you just go in the category, you realize that in the categories here we have only two things. We have the category name and the category description. So that this is something that is really easy. Okay, the category name and the category description, they are the only two things we have. So the form is pretty simple. So when we are working with forms, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to work, you can just simply go to FlowByte. Let me just go open here. You can just go to FlowByte. Okay, so when you go to FlowByte, you can search here for CRUD. Okay, you can search here for CRUD. So you have the models and you also have the pages. Okay, so you have all these CRUD. You can click on the first, these CRUD models. Okay, and then you will have here a form where you have these stuff here. The only thing actually I want from this, and you can see here, this is like adding a new product. Okay, you can see this form is very nice, and if you check in the code for this form here, you can see that they have these the create button. They have the model here. Okay, they have the models. You can also go on the search. Let's search for CRUD create forms. You can just leave this one which has a model. I don't want the one which has a model. Just get these normal ones. Just go down here. So there is these CRUD create forms. Just click on these create forms. Okay, so you have this CRUD here. So you can see they basically give you all these things you need. They select these stuff here, so which is nice. You can go ahead and look at the code here. Okay, you can go ahead and look at the code, and the fact that they I need to put these things in the card. Okay, we're not going to leave them. We can just put them in a card nicely, but we're just going to adopt to this where we have new, and then we pass in the name, and then we have this the closing one. Now when you click on this closing one, it takes you back to, it actually just like goes back to the previous, I guess, to the previous link. If you just look at what it has done, if you now close, it will take us back to the previous page. So this one takes us to the back, like to the previous one, but for us, we just direct to this page. We can redirect always to this page when they are creating. When someone cancels, it goes back to this page. Okay, so on this page, someone can choose now to create like a new item. Okay, and then when you close back, so this one we can redirect it to be going back. Okay, okay, so just going to have that header, which can be very easy. So on this new category here, I'm just going to first put the first thing inside here is going to be the header. So here we have the header. So here we'll have the header. Okay, and then the form. So we'll have the form, and then finally we'll have the, yeah, just have the form, and the form will have the buttons. Okay, we'll have the form, and the form will have the buttons. Okay, that's great. So on the header we have the two things. We have this title, new item, and then we also have this closing icon. So I'm just going to start with dot flex. Okay, items center. Okay, items center, then justify between. Okay, and then we can also go ahead and say bg white. Okay, so inside here I'm just going to put h2, which says new item or new category here. And then we have the cross, so I'm just going to have this. Now I could have this as a button, but I feel like I'm just going to make this one a link that is navigating back. So you can just call this, I'm not going to call it X. For them, they're using, I think, the back, they get the previous URL. I'm not going to do that. I'll just make this one a link. So I'm just going to say link from next link, and I'm just going to put here the cross icon. So here we have the X, and you can get the X from Lucid also, just like that. Okay, let's give this some padding Y of 3 and padding X of 8. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Okay, let's see. Expects the href, just put here href. Okay, so let's just say href here, and let me put a hashtag. Okay, so this is good. The X is there, and this one is here. We can just give them padding 16. Okay, and this one I'm just going to give it some text, maybe text Excel, font semi bold, font semi bold. Okay, let's see. Okay, so a new category, and then we have here the closing link. That's great. So down inside here we're just going to have the, and we can make this to be a component very quickly. You can just come here, this header, and we can just say form header. Just in these components dashboard, you can just quickly create a new component called form header.jsx. Okay, and inside this form header, where is it? Close the warehouse, all these things here. Okay, so this one, just cut this. Okay, you can cut this, and you go to this form header RFC. Okay, and then paste this. So you can see it takes in two things: the name. Okay, so here the title, it takes in the title as props title, and then title comes here on this new. So just put title here, and then another one is this href. So you can also put the href, and then come here, you put the href. So it takes in only these two things. So let's just go and call our, just come here and you say form header, and then we're just going to pass in those two things. The first one is the title, and the title is just going to give it as new category, and then the href. So the href, you can you can put a hash at this point. We just figure out in a second. But if you check back, we should link is not defined in the form header. Just bring this link from next link and also bring in X. Okay, so we have these two components now. Okay, so we are back to the way it was. So we have the X and we have this this one. So this is great. This is great, and we can have the form now. So down we can have the form. So let me just go back to this page. Down here you can have the form. So how is the form going to look like? Okay, so onto the form, you can just go ahead and copy these copy some of these fields here. Okay, but the first thing I'm just going to add is to add Tailwind forms. So you add we're going to add this plugin, the Tailwind forms, and what it does is the plugin provides a basic reset for the form styles that make form elements easy to override with utilities. So just simply go ahead and install these Tailwind forms. I'm just going to do that here. So just come here and add Tailwind forms. So it is this npm install Tailwind css, then /forms. So add this plugin. While it is adding it in, the only thing you have to do is modify your Tailwind config file, and then we add this plugin. Okay, if you want to see the basic usage, they even have a live demo here, and then they support all these ones. So now with that we can start on our forms. Okay, and what I want is, if you check onto this guy's code here, so you can see they have this bg white. Okay, and then there is where they have this grid. So we only need the form. So you see they have grid, then they have gap 4, sm grid calls 2, and then sm gap 6. Basically what they are why they are putting grid is to have these two column layouts. Okay, so we want to have somewhere these two column layouts to minimize on our space. So we'll have these two column layouts. Okay, so that to achieve these two column layouts, so I'm just going to come here inside, and the Tailwind forms have added inside here. I'm just going to say form. Okay, and inside this form, I'm just going to first of all add this inside the form grid. So you can add this inside dot, and then add this grid gap, and then this one grid columns means we're just dividing the whole place into two columns. At this, you can see here that at 640 we are making two columns, meaning originally on a small screen we'll have one column. Okay, now if we want to add something, for instance, you can see here a label, we can simply add this. Okay, if we want it to occupy, so let me just copy two things here for purposes of learning. So you can just come here and paste in these two. Okay, we can paste in these two, and for the inputs just add this slash at the end. Okay, just add a slash, even this one input, add a slash here. Okay, that is great. So now if you just check the one which has SM called span 2, this one is going to span for all these two columns, so this one will be a full width. So if I just go back here, you can see this one is occupying the whole full width, and then this one is occupying the half width. Okay, so this is good. We can control these two using this method here. Okay, but we want, of course, to have a nice form. Okay, so what you can just also first do is, let's go to let's go back here at Flowbyte, and now this time just go back here and search for you want you to search for a card. So just search for a card. Okay, so when you search for a card, scroll down and you will see a card with, okay, you will see a card with sign up. Let me see, a card with a form inputs. Okay, so I want to have this a card of this nature, and I'm not going to copy the whole card. What I want you to come is looking at this. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this first, the class, this class here. Copy this class name, just come here, and we can give this to our form. Okay, I'm just going to say class name here on the form, and let me give it these classes. So we have W full, max width, so we are going to use max width, and then we have padding, and then we have border, then we have all these things, nice things like this. Let's see what this one does. Okay, so you will see that it puts these ones in the middle. Okay, that is great. So what I'm just going to do is, first of all, increase this max width. So let's say our max width take in something like 6 Excel. Let me see that. 6 Excel is too big. Let's try 4 Excel. Okay, I think 4 Excel, let's try 3 Excel and see. Uh, 3 XL. What's max width? Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is this looks fine. The only thing we just need to do is put in the center. I don't know if we can try a MX Auto. Okay, so we have it in the center. I think let's try 4. Let's have 4 just like that in the center. Okay, that is great. And we can also just have a padding Y, or just like margin top. So let me just have margin Y of maybe 3. Okay, so this is cool. Now we have a nice form. Okay, so what we're just going to do is now to start putting in some fields, and then at the bottom we have to add the buttons. Okay, now what you could do also is that to make it even more fancy, we could divide this form. Okay, all these class names all these ones. I could leave the form like this, and I make sure these ones I put them inside. So I'm just going to say dot, and I put these class names here. So let me just go and do what they want to do. Okay, let's just leave it the way it was. Okay, let me just put it the way it was with all these ones. Let's put the buttons inside. It's okay. So just going to have the button, the submit buttons, we are going to have them inside here. Okay, so for these submit buttons, you can also go ahead and get the button from here. Let's get the button, so you can get this this button here, the login button, and we'll create it as, so just scroll down here. Okay, let me just look for where this where this submit. So the button is here, so you can just copy this button. Okay, just copy that, and we use this one as the submit. So you can just go and minimize this. So inside the form down here, I'm just going to have this. Now I could put this one in the width is full. Let me first paste this here. Okay, it is already having the width is full. Now if you just go back, okay, we have our button looking like this. We don't want it to do that, so we can simply put in a div dot margin. You could just say dot padding y, of maybe 4, and then also they just give it a width is full, and then let's put it the button like that. Let's see. Okay, the button is still having the width of full. What if I just come here and I really put correspond? So SM correspond 1. Okay, let's see if this changes anything. It seems not. Let's just remove this width is full, and we see. Okay, so this is better. Okay, this is much better. Okay, so now we just have these, and I feel like these buttons need to go more down. So just put margin top here, margin top of 6. Okay, okay, better. So now you can see how the inputs, how the form inputs look like. Before, we have not activated, by the way, our if you remember, I just a few seconds ago I installed the Tailwind forms. I haven't activated the Tailwind forms, and I want you to see the difference before and after. So you can see I have these forms looking like this. You can look at how they look like, and what I don't like about this one is this dark dark thing here. If you try to modify it in these forms, it doesn't go off. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to activate the Tailwind forms, and you see what happens. So to activate the Tailwind forms, simply go to this add this to the plugins. So copy that and then go to the Tailwind form, Tailwind config. So in the config here, just simply scroll to the plugins. Okay, just scroll to the plugins here. Okay, just scroll to the plugins, add a comma onto this stuff, and all these ones were added by Shad, so don't worry, they were added by Shad. So now I've added a new plugin, and you will see that when this plugin works, this changes. Look at that. Okay, I like that. So this changes, and you have the outline working softly, and everything is looking nice. Okay, so with this, okay, with this, now we are somehow good to go, but we still have more configurations to do. So what I'm just going to do, first of all, I'm just going to bring in some more stuff. One, we need to bring in the React hook forms. So we need React hook forms to handle our data. Okay, so I'm just going to come here, React hook forms, click on getting started. Okay, first of all, let's be installing it. So copy that, bring this down here, and let's be installing React hook forms. Okay, so install React hook forms just like that. As it is installing, we can just be moving on to something else. So how do we use React hook forms? I've always have a video. I have a video about React hook forms. If you need to go and dive into details of React hook forms, I have a separate video about it. You can first even go and watch about it. But what React hook forms gives us, they give us, just go to JavaScript. So they have a hook that they expose. They expose this hook called use form. So this use form hook is having some functions: the register function, the handle submit function, and the watch, and then the form state. They give us all these things, and we use these things to do different tasks. For instance, we can get the data from the form using the handle submit. Then we can register and validate the data using the register function. So we have all these different functions having different purposes. Meanwhile, so what you can do is you go to an input, and then you pass in the register, and then you can pass in the register the name you are trying to register, and if you want, you can also pass in the validation. For instance, you can see required true, and this is how you can show the errors. Okay, so we are going to bring in the React hook forms. That is great. So to bring in React hook forms is very easy. Just copy this part on top, as simple as that. And let's hope it has already installed. Let's check. Everything has no problem. It has installed successfully. Close it, and let's go back to this page. Okay, so on top here of this page, you can drop in this, and then you can get the use form from React hook forms. As simple as that. So when you have these three functions, you can now do a lot of things. First, you can register inputs. That is a great thing. You can register inputs. Another thing is we can also validate inputs. Okay, now to show you, let me just show something. There is the part here. If you scroll down, you'll see that there is why I have some form here, and you can see the way you can get data from. Let me go to React hook forms. Let me drop it here. So you can see on the form you pass in the on submit, and then the on submit is the one which actually, so the register function excuse me, The register function here gets the input name and the value and puts them into the handle submit. Handle submit passes them to the on submit as data. Okay, so what we need to do onto this very fast is that you have to create a first function, which is just function on submit. Okay, and this on submit function receives data. Okay, and then we can of course go ahead and console.log this data. Okay, and so this function is a function that is going to run on the form submit. When we submit the form, we need this function to run. Okay, so but it's going to run within, so you just come here, and by the way, we're not going to use server actions. Okay, I feel like we still have some time, but they are stable in version 14. Server actions are stable. I will first make a video about server actions, then I will start using them. Okay, so we're going to still use our APIs. I like that version of handling data, so we use the APIs in this one. So what we just need to pass in here is the on submit. So on submit, we just need to pass in handle submit. Okay, handle submit, and you simply pass in the on submit, and now this on submit you are passing in is actually this function that we just created here in a second, this one. Okay, and when you do that, now the form is now connected. Okay, the form is now connected, and the only thing just needs is to come like to a label. Okay, is to come like to the input, and then you come here, this input, you just give it a register, and to register you can just simply just say register just like this, and then you put the name of the input that you want. Okay, so if you just do this, we can first test it out very fast. I can just go to this button, type submit, and then you can just say submit here, maybe save, whatever you just want. So if I just go very fast to this, let's see, use client, we are using a hook, use form, so this one has to be a use client, so you say use client, use client. Okay, good, use client. Let's see, use client. Okay, so we are good. So I'm just going to go to this to the console. Now I registered only one input, which was this. So if I put the whatever, just enter here, and I click save, you see that it is inside already in the name. So you can see the name, and then they have put the value that I just entered here. So that is cool. Okay, so with that, I'm just going to use this form I have here. Okay, so I have these forms, and to simplify this, it has also even the errors. So what I'm just going to do is just simply copy this. We have the label, and then we have this input. I'm just going to copy this correspond to. What I could do is copying this function. Okay, let me just copy some of these, not all of them. I'm just going to copy some few to use as an example. So this is for the title. It starts from here, scroll down, okay, up to here. Okay, Control C, and I'm just going to remove this. I'm just going to remove all these ones. Okay, I'm just going to remove all these ones here. and paste this one. Okay, so now what we just need is, I have this correspond to, I have the label. The label should be HTML4, okay, for React, and then here you can just put title, and of course here it is going to be the category title, okay, category title. And then inside here we have the input, and we can register this title here, and we can also pass in the required. Okay, so you pass in the required, and then you can say name, ID, autocomplete. Okay, you can even remove the autocomplete, you don't need it. And then you have that. Press here, you can say type the category, type the category title, and then if you want to show the errors.title, and then we can show the span which says that the category title is required. Okay, great. So this shouldn't change anything. If I go back here, I have only now one. Okay, have only one, and with this purple we can change everything to blue, back to blue, by looking for what there is purple here, and Ctrl F, Ctrl H, and turn purple to blue, and replace. And I think that is the only place, so that this one now is blue to match our color. So if I type anything here now, and I think we should just leave our autocomplete somewhere. Let me just see autocomplete, and here we can give, was it given name? I'm not sure. Okay, so you can see if I remove category title is required, the validation is already working. I'm just going to come here and I type in computers. If I click submit, you can just check down here. I have here the name. Let's just first see what do we have. By the way, register title. Let me refresh. Okay, now on refresh, why are we having all these ones? We just saw them in a second. For the class, let me just go ahead and I put in something here and save. Okay, so you can see the title is clearly, we are getting it here. If you remove everything, you can see category title is required. Okay, that is great. So now what I want to accomplish, the one I told you at the beginning of the video, is I want to make this a component. I don't know how possible that can be. I want to make this a component. Okay, and we can make this one not to occupy the entire width by giving it width full. And let's make sure everything has a class. Just come to this one and instead give it width full. Okay, let's give it width full. For this one, I think we could just leave it like this. The fact that we're just going to put a description down, okay, it would look somehow weird if this is not full. Let's just first leave it just like that. So what I want is, I want to make this one a component. Okay, this whole thing here, I just want to make it a component, a text input component. And let's see if we can change things slowly by slowly. So I just want to get this. Okay, this text input here. Okay, and you notice if here we also pass in the width, and I put like width is full, this one becomes a half. You see, it occupies a half. So this is going to give us a nice control of whether this is going to be width is full or is going to be just like this. So just copy this. Okay, I'm just going to go to components, and this time I will create a new one called inputs. I'm just going to create a new folder, form inputs. Okay, and then in this form inputs, I'm just going to create a new file. I'm just going to say text input. Okay, I'm just going to say text input.jsx. I'm just going to say rfc. Okay, rfc, and I'm just going to paste this here. Okay, so let's look at what you're going to pass in here. So you can see clearly we have the label. So we have this name. Okay, so we have the name, which is the HTML4, this name, which again goes to the name and then to the name. So the name we want to give, so we can have, for instance, the label. Let me just have here the label. Okay, and in fact, let me just go ahead, and I think I can just bring it and then I explain to you. So let's just come here and check on our text input. So I was trying it here. Just zoom in somehow. Do I need to zoom in? I think it is okay. The screen must be okay. You guys, you are looking. Let me just remove this. Okay, so I'm having here the, let me scroll down to this. So you have here the text input, and the input can have the name, and you see this name goes on the HTML4. It also goes onto the ID, and even on the register is the same name. Then we have the label. Okay, then we have the type, then we have the register function. Okay, this one, and then we have the required. I don't know if required we really need it, but we have then the rest. For now, let me just put the few ones. Okay, so the first one, we have this label. So you can come here, put label, and I can just use this label here, label. Okay, and then we have the title. This title is the name. Okay, it is the name we're going to be using anywhere here. So let me just go here and put the name. Okay, I'm just going to come here, the name. What is the name? So here, HTML4, just put name. Okay, then also this very name, we are going to use it on, of course, on this name, and then we're also going to use it on the ID, and we're also going to use it in the register function. Okay, we are going to use it in the register function. And what is, okay, we also have required, true or false. So here I'm just going to put required. So this one is going to be a boolean, true or false. So you can pass it in here, required, required, just like that. Okay, or we could just maybe we could just make it is required, is required, so that we just know is a boolean, is required, true or false. okay, here, and by default we can just give it a true value. So I can just say here is equal to true. Okay, just like this. I can first give it this value of equal to true. So by default, even if you don't pass, it will already be it is always going to be true. Then one thing that is remaining is this register. Okay, so we pass in the register function, register. So we have this register is going to be the register here. Okay, let me see. Another thing we have to do is the type. So type. Okay, so type here. So you can also pass in the type. Then we bring it here to be the type. Okay, to be the type here, type. And since we could give by default also type text, okay, if they don't pass anything, we could just put in type text, but the type will also be giving the type, and I think we might be giving autocomplete. Let's give it the name, and then one more thing is going to be the width. So we could just come here and we specify the width. Okay, here I'm just going to come here and say the width. I don't know whether I should just give it as a class name or the, okay, maybe we just call it container width. Okay, container width. Then you just name all that, container width, and we can also give it a default. Okay, so a default one maybe is a full one actually. So I'm just going to say container width, and also I'm just going to give it a default of a full one, and then I'm just going to put here, I just name it as class name. Okay, just here, then here we just put also class name. Okay, so now let me just go and bring in this text input, replace it with here. I don't know how successful this is going to be. So just say here and text input, just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the things we need to give it. Just go back to the text input. It takes in all these things here. Okay, so I just copy them one by one so that I can give them, paste them here. So the first one is going to be the label. Okay, so the label, I'll give it a label of let's give it a label. It was having a label of category title. Okay, I'm just going to remove this, and then we have to give it a name, which is a title. So you say name is equal to title. Okay, then remove it. Then is required by default is true, so just going to remove that one, just like that. Even if I don't put, by default it will be true. Then register is register, so cut this and just say register is equal to register. So we already have the register function, of course, on top here, this one. Okay, and then let's see, type is text, so even if I don't give any type, by default it is text. Okay, and then the class name by default is this one, and I'm just going to leave it by default like that. And let's see if everything is still working the way it's supposed to be. The first one is register. Okay, so now we have this problem of the pass.split is not a function. Okay, so this one they are saying is not a function, even when it actually comes here. Let's see, text input, we have it here. And then we are using it here. Okay, how about actually defining the register function from this component? Okay, so let me see if I just come and say import. So if I just come here, and because this is similar to all of them, so I could just come here on top and I say use client. Okay, and then from here I can just come here and I get the register function. So const register, and I can get this from use form. Okay, I can get this from the use form, and I can remove it from here. Use form. Okay, let's see now if this error goes away. Okay, we have another one. Really, input register name split is seriously why? Let me first check. Up here we have everything. Register from the use form. Let me see. Yeah, we just get the register from the use form. I'm getting the register function from here, and I'm passing it into the input here. Let's see if I just give, is this the name disturbing here? Okay, let's see. Errors is not defined. Okay, we can also get the errors. Okay, we can just say form state, and then we can extract the errors. Okay, so now it looks okay. Okay, if I just come here, the problem we have is actually onto this name here. Is what I'm seeing as a problem. Okay, so what about okay, so how about giving it as this? Let me see. So I'm just going to see if I put dollar name. Okay, let's see now. Okay, this works now. Let me try to save. Nothing happens. Okay, let's just try to see. Okay, so thinking that it works. This whole thing uh, works with the handle submit. Like it checks the errors on submit. Okay, and then I'm also wondering why we can't bring a function from their side. Okay, actually just do this. Let me bring in again the register function. Okay, another thing is I should also bring in the errors. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in the errors just like that, and I'm just going to remove this one now. So let me just check if it's going to give us the errors again. Where is the stuff I want to pass in here? Also the errors as errors. Okay, we shouldn't have any problem. An undefined title. Okay, so everything looks like is okay. Let me just try to save. Okay, guys, it is working. Category is required. Category title is required. Let me just go and see if it can submit the data. So I'm just going to pass in something here, and let me save. Wow, so we have the title is coming through. Okay, and let me fix this stuff here on they are saying on the label. Okay, so HTML4, where do we have HTML4? I think on the form we are okay. I don't know where they are getting that from. If you check on our txt, like here, but we don't have the 4. Let me search here. 4. We don't have anywhere 4. Are we? We have in the search. Oh, okay, in the search input here. So this one is HTML4. Okay, that is good to know. And if all these classes, Control H, class name, class, and these ones should be put here equal signs to make sure you select the ones. Let me replace all the class. Okay, I think we shouldn't have any more problems. Let me go and refresh. Okay, this side. Okay, we wait. What? Let's check the button. Okay, so the button, I'm just going also to go and get my button. So here on the button we are going to put loading in a second, so I'm just going to bring this one, just go onto the button, just bring in this which says loading. Okay, Control C, and just go back and to the page. Okay, and even this button here, I think I'm just going to see. Okay, let me just put here where the buttons are located here. Just put this, and I feel like this one should also be a component. We don't need to repeat all this code all the time. Okay, So this one should be the submit button. Okay, yeah, it should be the submit button. And we could see, let me first go and set this loading. Okay, so I'm just going to say create here state for loading const loading set loading, okay, is equal to set loading is equal to use state, okay, and by default let's make it false. Okay, and let's see now what do we have here right now. Okay, the plus, let's bring in the plus icon. So I have this on the type submit, I have this save category, okay, and then there's this plus icon. I'm just going to get this from Lucid. Okay, let's go and see. And wherever there is blue, wherever there is purple, we can change to blue. So Control F, Control H, and just replace with blue, just like that. So if we go back here, we should be having blue. Okay, so this is great. So we have save category here, which is looking really fine. And if I just click add anything here, click save, we have the title very nicely. Now what I just want is also this one, I want to make it a component, because why I'm making these things as components, guys, is we have tons and tons of forms. If you look at this is too huge. Okay, so we have to get a way of planning ahead, and we create as many components as possible. Okay, we have to create many components as possible so that we are able to do this. Okay, and let me see if the reset function actually works. If I just click here and I just say reset, not to resize but reset, and you can call this reset function. You can also get it here instead of watch, let's say reset. So you can just get this reset also from the use form, and I just want to see if it works, and its purpose is to clear the whatever you put here. After submitting, it clears it here. Okay, that is great. So what I just want is also this submit button should be a what, and I don't know if we need now this. Let me see. Do we need this really margin thing on margin 6? Let me just first remove this. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so this looks great at that level. So I want to make this a component. Okay, so I want to make this a component. I'm just going to create submit button. So I'm just going to go to components, form inputs. I'm just going to create a button. Let me first copy all this code, come here, and form inputs, create a button, submit button, submit button dot jsx rfc. Okay, and let's just replace it here. Let's get this icon. Okay, now we need to modify some things. The first thing, I'm just going to put things here. First of all is loading, so we can just say loading. in fact say is loading. Okay, and then we have the titles. Okay, we have this loading, the loading what, the loading title and the button title. So you can just say the title. Okay, so we can also pass in the title. Okay, just like that, and this is going to get here, is loading. Okay, and then we have the title, so you can just say for instance, create saving or creating, please wait, and we could just say the title here. I could just say title here, just like that, and then here is save, and then I could just put save title. Okay, and we will just modify this in the future, but for now let's see if this one works. So it takes in the is loading and the title. Let me copy this, submit button. Okay, so just go here and let's go inside the page, and I'm just going to remove all this, and I'm just going to put submit button, submit button. Okay, it takes in the is loading, and this one is going to be loading, and then it takes also the title, and then this is going to be the title, and the title is category. Okay, just like that, and let's see if everything remains the same. Okay, let's see. We have errors, category is not defined. Okay, this is supposed to be not just like that, just give it a normal title, just like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we still have save category, and let me just try to add in title here. Click, and I have it here. So we have successfully so added, you can see the button, and you can see how now tremendously how we have less code. Okay, and you're going to do the same for the description. So you create another one for the text area. Okay, so if you just continue here, you will see that I also have one for the text area, and we can first also add this text area. Let me just move up while we have the text area here. So I have this course description, so I'm just going to cut this, okay, up to here, Ctrl C. So I'm just going to come, if I paste this anywhere here, so after the text area I can just go ahead and paste this. Okay, and wherever there is course, I'm just going to rename it wherever there is course, wherever there is course, I'm just going to rename it with category, just like that. Okay, so if I just go back onto this, it should have now a nice category. So you have here the title and the category. Right now we have this, then we have a button, and if you check, it would have the register, and it is description and all these things. Yeah, so I mean, if I just go ahead and I fill in these two now, save, you have the title and the description here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and also create a component for this kind of stuff, the description. Okay, so you have to get the one which is TextArea, because TextArea does not move with this one. It's not a text input, but the email, what all others can go with this one. And then we can also have this one now, okay, which is going to be almost the same. Okay, which is going to be almost the same. So I'm just going to go back to the to the components inputs here, and I'm just going to have a new one which is TextArea input, TextArea input dot JSX. Okay, so if you go back to this and you scroll down, there must be one for the TextArea, I guess. I don't have the one for the TextArea. Okay, the TextArea I think is here. Okay, so we have this for the TextArea. Basically is the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. I'm just going to go and copy whatever you have in the text input. Just get these ones and then put inside here. Let's first change the title. This one is TextArea input. Okay, TextArea input, it must be the same like this one. Okay, so it takes in the label, so the label has no problem, and the class name. Okay, the label and the class name, if you look at the page, so it also takes in this one. It takes in the label, the stuff here, which is okay. Now then we have this div. Okay, I'm just going to copy this div, Ctrl C, and take it to the TextArea input. So wherever there is this input here, I'm just going to put it down here. Okay, for the other things, for instance, the register function remains exactly the same. Okay, so the register function, this one, I'm just going to cut this and replace it with the register function here, so it remains the same. ID name, they all remain the same. Okay, ID name, they remain the same, just like that, ID and name. Then the rows, okay, now the rows, I just leave it like that, but you could also make this one to be you could also make this one to be a prop, but I'm just going to leave it. And then the errors, let's see how did we handle the errors. Okay, by the way, we did not put the error which should be the name. Okay, whatever the name, I guess here. Okay, you could just use the name or label. Let's see what is on the label. So for instance, you can say category title as the label, so is required. Okay, yeah, so just come here and we put this here. I'm just going to do this. Okay, does it work inside here? If I just try to put here, I put label, I'm not sure if it is going to accept. Label is required. and then here errors dot, okay, so this errors dot name, okay, errors dot name, errors dot name, because whatever we pass in here is the name that we passed in actually here, and what we pass it here is actually the name. Yeah, just see if this is going to work for the error handling. Okay, let's see. Label is required. Let me just remove this. Okay, I don't know if this is going to give us some errors. Let's go back, and since there's no errors, so you can just try to submit an empty form. Okay, category description is required, so this is working. So I'm just going to get this, okay, and let's add it to the text input. So the text input, we are still having it hard coded here, so replace it with this error.name, and this is label is required. Is there anything else we changed here? I think that's it. Okay, let's just go and back and test. Okay, let's test this. What? Category description is and for the title has not given us. Let me just go and check text input. So we have the label, we also have the name, and then input to register that error dot name, okay, then label is required. Okay, so this is not working as expected, and it's working only for this one. Which name is using here? Errors dot and what if maybe we put this one dynamically also? I don't know how that one would look like, because if it was title here, if we had put title here, here, so it becomes error.title. Okay, so dot title. So if I just come and I say you cannot put this, okay, how about this, and you pass in like name? Is this one acceptable? It doesn't have to be a string, it has to be name, not in the string, of course. And it is always checking for the name. Let's first go and look at the errors. For example, if you have more errors, just go to the documentation in a second. apply validations. So on the validations here, let's say you have these you can pass in all these stuff. Let's see. Okay, so that one I'm just going to first leave it for now, but when we submit the data, all of it is gotten very well, the description and the title. Okay, I'll just fix the error for validation maybe in the next episode. For now, we have our working stuff. I'm just going to come here and I use the text area. So in the page, so instead of this whole thing here, I'm just going to just remove this and then just simply put the text area input, just like that, and we can pass in the same things here, just like that. And this is label category description, name, then the register and the errors. I think those are the only ones we need. Okay, I can see it has been rendered very well. So yeah, so we have this right now, this one working properly. If I put in anything here, I'll do this, and now let's say loading, because we have the data now working very well. Let's just come here. If we want to submit this data, what we need to do is I'm going to set up the API inside the app, create an API folder, and in this API we'll have a lot of routes, and I'm just going to put the first one. For this one is the categories. Okay, so you can have the categories, and inside the categories I'm just going to put route dot js, just like that, and I'm just going to say export async function post, and then this takes in a request, and then here we can just say const, we can destructure the title and the description from await request dot json. Okay, just like that, request dot json. It looks just like that. So just do this, const new category. So you can just say here const new category, and if I just say category and is equal to this, okay, and then we can just come and say return, and we can put all this in a try catch just in case something happens, try catch, and in the try just going to put that, and then I'm just going to say return next response, return next response dot JSON. Okay, and this one of course is having the error. I can first console.log the error, and then afterwards I can return it here. So you can just see, you can return the error and the message. Okay, failed to create a category. Okay, and then you can also pass the status of 500. So status is here 500 server error, and then inside up here you can just go ahead and we can just say return next response dot JSON, and we can simply pass in the category. Okay, that has been created, and let's also console.log category. Okay, as simple as that. So we have the endpoint. So this endpoint is receiving the categories, and I can go back to the page very fast. I have all the data inside here. I'm also going to do a try catch. Okay, if there is error, you can console.log error. Okay, and then on top here we can get the data. So inside here on the data we can also make a request. Okay, so first of all I'm just going to say const, I will store it later. Let me just say here const response is equal to await, and this one becomes async function await, and we are going to await fetch, and we're just going to create a fetch to this endpoint http localhost 3000, just like that, stroke API stroke categories. Okay, and then we can pass in, so this we can save this in the base URL, this one. Okay, we can save it in the base URL. So I'm just going to say here const base URL is equal to this string here, and then I can just come and I put inside here by using a template backticks, just like that. Go ahead and remove this, put it in base URL, simply just put it like this, API categories, just like that. And then down here let's pass in the options. So you can pass in the method, okay, to be the method to be post, the method to be post, and we have also the content type. So you could just see here headers, and in the header we have here content type is equal to application JSON. Okay, and by the way, you should be thinking about like, what if we make this a function or something like that. Then we have here the body. Okay, we can have the body, which is going to be JSON dot have here JSON dot stringify, and then of course we pass in the data. Okay, so this is the how the endpoint is going to look like. Okay, so after this we can get the response. So you can just say if the response dot okay, we can just say if response dot okay one, we can console dot log the response, and at that point you can also go ahead and reset. So this reset must be inside here, and we can also set loading off, set loading to false. Okay, and that means at the beginning here we can set loading to true, set loading to true, and then even if there is any errors it should also set loading to false. So set loading to false, just like that. Okay, so right now what we just want to see is we are going to save the data. So you can see the data we are submitting. I just also want to console.log this data, console.log data. So in the data we are sending there the two things. Okay, we are sending there the title, and we even send here description. So just say description. We are sending there also the description. So let's just go and try it out. Just reload the page. Okay, so I'm reloading the page here. We have some reds here. Let's see. HTML4 warning prop HTML4 did not match the server title. Client description. Let's just go and check what we have the site in the component. HTML4 is name. Okay, then the name, ID, everything is okay. Then in the text input, HTML4 also takes in the name. Okay. So this site in the page we give them name, description, then here name is title. I don't know what it is talking about. Shouldn't have any issues. Okay, so just come and feed in here test title, and here test description. Okay, so if I click save, so it is still until the request comes back. You can see here the title and the description, and then the title. Now it is still loading. I mean that we are not getting the response. Okay, and we can check on the terminal if we have anything. Let me just come here. It seems that we have not found somewhere. Let's check our page. Let's check this function. where we are sending the data API categories because of this. Okay, let me just reload the page again. Okay, you can see the error here, not found 404. Okay, and let me just go ahead and test title, and then here test description. Okay, and then save. So you have the title and the description, but we are still having internal server error. Let's see this time what is the error we are having. Okay, reference error, cannot access category before initialization. Okay, which category are we talking about? Okay, so just go to the route we have here, category, console.log. Okay, it is this console.log. It must be down here. Okay, let's try one more time. Refresh the page. Okay, and I'm just going to put a cancel somewhere here. I don't know how we can abort this request. And then let's just come here, and I'm just going to fake fill this time, save, and you can see the response came back very fast. And if you check on the console, we must be having the data, so the title and description is coming out really nicely. Okay, so we have this the title. Right now this model for the title is working perfectly. Right now you can click on it, and then we'll be adding more buttons here, but right now we have this working, looking nice. First of all, the UI. So now we could put this one back, which links back to the items, to this page here, not this page. So we want them to have that page where you can select, and let's actually first put them. If you go to the back office, under the inventory, there is this page. Okay, there is this page. If I just go to that page, let me show you. If I just go to the inventory, just like that. Okay, okay, that is why we have these ones. So these ones are supposed to reflect the things that we have here. Okay, supposed to reflect the things that we have here. These items, we have categories, brands, units, warehouse, inventory adjustment. We have all of them supposed to appear here. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to first of all modify this. They look to be too big, but for now we can first put them like that. Okay, we just go, it's a matter of adding these ones in the array, which is very, very easy. So you can see we would have them as option cards, and then they take in this option data. Okay, so if you just go above here, we have all these option cards. So just a matter of just creating it as an option card. Okay, and then we're also going to modify these links. For instance, of the new item, if you click here, you just see there is this link here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy these links for the item. Okay, item, and then down here this item link here. put the slash dashboard inventory. Okay, just like that. Then instead of composite, let's just put here categories. Okay, and then here I'm just going to put this categories. Okay, we can just add instead of price list, we have brands. So I'm just going to add here brands, and I'm just going to add this link. We'll modify later on the icons and other things. This one is brands. Okay, let's add more, and let's make sure the enabled is true. Okay, just enable it to be true, and just simply just go here, copy this, update for the warehouse, and then in the warehouse we have here the link, which is going to be warehouse, and I don't know if they are done. Items, there is only one, units, so you can change this one to units, and then here is going to be units. Okay, units, as just as simple as that. And there is also a link title here, new unit, and then here this one's going to be new warehouse. Okay, and then to these other ones, a new brand, and then new category. Okay, and that's the only thing you just need to put. New item, as simple as that. So if you just go back to this, I'm just going to link this to any of these ones. Now you can see if you click on this, new item will be created here. So what we want is, for instance, let's look at the categories. So you can see the categories is taking you to this new categories. It should take us to the inventory, guys. Okay, let me change all these to the inventory. Okay, I just want to change this to the inventory. Anyways, we can just leave this one like this. Like if someone clicks on this items, maybe I don't know, if we just should take them directly to the new, just like that, like the new brand, the new units, and the new warehouse, the event adjustment. I don't know, we should just do it. It takes us to the other page, and then on the other page we can click. They have this page. If you click on the items leave, you see that they have this page where you can create anything. Actually, yeah, I think let's just redirect to this page for all of them. When you click on dashboard inventory, then we have all these ones, dashboard inventory, dashboard inventory, just let's redirect them there so that someone can have a variety of things you can create. Okay, just like that. Okay, cool. So now if someone clicks in any of these ones, let's hit refresh. Okay, just go these items. Now it should wait, guys. These ones, which links are these ones? Oh, okay, these ones are for the cards, guys. Let's just leave these ones the way they are. These ones, we have to leave them just the way they are. Okay, I'm just going to leave these ones the way they are. So these ones are on the sidebar. So let me just go to the sidebar. Sorry for that. Let me just go to the components dashboard and let me just find the sidebar. Okay, so there are these ones. Okay, so on the sidebar we have inventory links, and this is where we put them items, and then when you click and just let's remove this, let this one take us to the dashboard inventory. You can actually just like, for you can just leave it to go to the new page. Okay, you don't have to do this, you can just leave it yours so that it goes to the inventory. So right now I've just modified these links. If you click on any of these ones, let me refresh. Okay, go to the inventory here, click on this, it takes us here. If you click on any of these ones, they all redirect us here. Okay, now if you check, you see that they have already increased. Now for these item groups, actually is we don't want any item groups. Okay, we don't want item groups. I'm just going to go to where they are, which is the here. Just go to inventory, just go to inventory and then this page. Okay, so item groups, the only thing I'm just going to copy is the icon only, just boxes, and then I'm just going to remove it. Okay, and then for this we can put these boxes to this categories. And then component, I'm just going to remove component and I will put it on the units. Where are the units? Here. Okay, so now let's see, these ones they must change. We have item, we have categories. Now categories, you can say it says enable. Okay, so let me just check categories. Okay, make sure this one is enabled true. Just enabled, set true. Okay, so that we have the link here. So new category, you see, takes you to this. Okay, so this back one also, you're just going to give it this link. So I'm just going to copy this link and I'm just going to go to this the categories, new inventory categories in new here, where we gave this this form header. I'm just going to give it this. Okay, or you could just redirect on the category page. After creating the category, you could redirect it to the category page, or you could just, like, if someone clicks here, it takes them back to the inventory selections. Like for instance, if you click here, it takes you back to this place where you can create anything new. If you click here, takes us back. Cool. Now we have to do all this for all these other ones, brand. So another thing is that we're just going to make them, I feel like these boxes are huge. I don't know if we can leave them like that, but new brand, you see it takes you to this brand. Okay, now to show how easy this is to create other things, for instance, let me show you for the units. If we go to, just scroll up and let's go after the categories, which had two things only. So the brand here, so the units has the name and it has the abbreviation. I don't think we just need the abbreviation, just need a name. Yeah, we need the unit name and the unit abbreviation. Okay, and then you can also specify the default unit. Okay, if this is a default unit or not, we'll just create that one. But right now we can give it two things, the unit name and the unit abbreviation. Okay, and to show that how easy it is, I'm just going to go to units. After we have all our components in place, if I go to units, I can first even go create its API route. So in the app, you can just go ahead and create API. In the API here, you can create a new folder and let's call this one units. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this route. In fact, just copy, right click, copy the file, go to the units and paste the file. Okay, and the only thing I'm just going to change is it's going to receive the title and the abbreviation. Just like this, title, abbreviation, and then new unit. So this one is the unit and it's going to be title, abbreviation, new unit. So here, let me just put unit, and then catch errors, it failed to create a unit, just like that. Okay, and let's go in the new. So if you just go inside the app, back office, dashboard, so if I just go and get this new file inside the categories new, there is this page. If I just go copy this page, I'm just going to go to the units. Okay, this units here, and then inside the new, I can first of all remove this page that is there. Okay, after removing it, I can just go and paste this one I have. So inside the units, paste this. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we can change. First of all, we can just say this is a new unit. Okay, and then we have the loading states done properly. The only thing we just change is the units. Okay, API units, data is the same, everything is the same. Now what we only need is change this title is new unit, and the href we can leave it the same. And then in the form, the only thing we just change is this title here. So for instance, we need the unit title, so you say unit title, we leave it as title, and then here is going to be, instead of TextArea, is also going to be another it is going to be also another text input, and this time it is unit abbreviation. Okay, now this is where the spelling comes in now. quick fix abbreviation. Okay, so this is the right spelling. So let me just also do the same here. Title is abbreviation, just like this. And let me make sure that what I'm sending here, register, errors, everything is okay. Title here is going to be unit. Okay, and that's it. Now if wanted to change these ones, the title and the abbreviation, we could pass in the class name here. We can pass in the class name as with is full, just like that. And even this one, pass in the class name as with is full, and this should be enough to go to the units section, where the units are here. Create a new unit. Let's see if the form was created. 404 inventory units new, inventory units. Where is the page that we have just pasted? What? Why did I paste this? Okay. Items, did I paste in the items? I think it's still here. This is in the units page. Oh boy. Okay, just copy this, cut whatever is here, just cut it, and let's go to units. Am I having here route in the units route.js? Jesus. Okay, I pasted a wrong one, I guess, but just create a new folder, new, and then inside here let's have the page .jsx, and let's paste this. Okay, then in this normal one, I'm just going to go I interchanged right now. Oh, this is the API. Okay, in the API categories, API, just cut this. Just going to cut that. Even this page, remove it, delete. So in the units, is supposed to have only the route, and this is the API. We just simply want to go to this units, then new. Okay, and I'm just going to remove this. Sorry for that, guys. So I'm just going to right click and paste, hoping that I'm pasting the right thing this time. So I've pasted the new page here. Let's see. Okay, so now you see. So the things magically are now happening. Unit title, unit abbreviation. Let me just go here. I have this, and by the way, on the small screen it should be responsive. Yeah, so you can see it switches on the small screen. Okay, so this is cool. Now I also want to fastest put in this saving unit. Please wait, look at these guys. We even have it in the console working in just a second. This is serious. So you have the title and the abbreviation. Okay, we have a title and abbreviation, just as simple as that, just like putting like this. So you can just say it as, say title is kilogram okay, kilograms, and then here abbreviation is kg. Okay, then save, just like that, unit here, and then you have everything working. Okay, and if you close, it just goes back here. And as simple as that, we are done with the unit. We can just go to the brand, and the brand is the same thing. Okay, just go to this, instead of units, I'm just going to go to the units, new. I will copy this folder, the new folder, go to brands, remove the one that is there, delete the new folder that is in brands, click and paste this. So if you see now, we have the new page, and the only thing you have to do is just come here, and this is a new brand, and for the brand, the only thing we just have to change, of course, this one is going to be brands, the API route, and then the only thing you have to change is here is new brand, and then here what we have to change is the remove these text inputs. We just only need one, which is the brand title. So just come here and say brand title, and done. Okay, the only submit button, we give it here brand. Okay, now what we can just do is create it for an API endpoint, minimize dashboard and back office. In the API, I'm just going to simply create the new folder called brands, and let's go to the units, copy this route, and go to the brands, paste this route, and in the route, what we're just going to change is we are receiving only the title. Okay, we are also receiving only the title, and this is going to change to brand. Okay, so if we just do that, we should be having also the brand working. So if I just go here, and of course let's go to brand, we could refresh, and we are there, and is there asking us the brand title. Just simply create. Okay, so you can just say maybe HP. So we just say HP, and then we just go to the console, see if everything is working, and you see title HP, response comes back. We go to the console. Let me just go to the console and title HP. So the HP is working. Okay, so that's it. The brand units categories done. What is remaining is the warehouse. So you can just go to the warehouse. Let's see what we have in the warehouse. So we have done, so here in the warehouse we have this, the warehouse type. Okay, where we could use the select. Okay, in the case where the main warehouse, we can also just go and create for the warehouse. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to first make its API. So just come here, create a new folder, and call it warehouse. And then on the, just go to the categories, copy, and go to the warehouse, paste the route. Okay, and then on the warehouse, we should accept the name, which is going to be the title, the location, description, and the type. So we have the typo, description in between here. We can have location, and then we have the type. Okay, so we have these 4 things from the warehouse. Okay, and this one is going to be warehouse. Okay, and then whatever we have up here, let's just drop it in here so that we can console it. So just like that, we have the warehouse just like that. And if I just go back, let's create its forms. So I'm just going to go to this back office, dashboard, inventory, warehouse. Then we have the warehouse new, and then it has the page. I'm just going to go to the categories, new page, copy everything here, Control C, go to this warehouse, new page, remove everything here. So first, let me change on top here to new warehouse, and now in this we have this, everything remains the same. We have to change this one to warehouse. Okay, and you realize we could make this as a function. That's how crazy it can get. Okay, so that we don't even repeat that code anywhere. And then here, new warehouse. Okay, and then just leave that. So let's start on the form. We have the title. I'm just going to name this one as warehouse title. Okay, and then we have and then this one we could just leave it actually to. So since we have the title, and then we have the description, then we have the location. So I'm just going to say here warehouse physical location. So I will duplicate this one. After the title, let's have the warehouse location. Okay, and this, just name it as location. Okay, and then let's give it class names for these two. So just give class name with this full. Okay, and then even this one, let's give it class name with this full. Okay, and now if I go down to the third one, the description, I want it to finish the whole place. So we are remaining with only one, which is this type, and I also want to create a stuff for this one. Okay, but let's first see what we have so far. So if I just go back, click on this, go back, and let's just go and look for the warehouse, new warehouse. So far we have this created just out of in a matter of seconds. We have this nice looking UI with this warehouse, and what I'm just going to add on. So right now this one is already accepting the details. If I try to submit stuff here, save, even the response is coming back. If you check on the console, you have this coming here. Let's see, title, location. The only one is defined and undefined is the type. Okay, so let's see, on the type we can use two things. With the type, for instance, for this warehouse, we want to have two choices, whether it is going to be a branch or it is the main. So we have the main warehouse. So we can either just use, if we have only two choices, we could use a drop down, or you can still use the what do they call it, the radio buttons. Okay, so we could just work on that. I don't know if in my, do I have anything to do with the radio buttons? We have the select, the image, the text area, So I don't have the one for the, but we could just go here. Okay, I just go in these things I have here. Okay. We just need to have a radio button. So I'm just going to go to Flowbyte, and I'm just going to put in radio. There is no radio input. Okay, maybe like the checkbox. Am I having internet? Okay, so I don't have internet. Okay, let me just, in a second, let me first put back. So I couldn't put my internet back right now, so let's end this episode at this point. But already we have done good work, guys. So we have all these at least the categories sorted. We have the brands. Okay, we have the brands sorted. We have the units. Okay, we have the units. Okay, and then we have the warehouse. Okay, we have this warehouse sorted. Okay, so now in the next episode we just work on the item, and we also create the API to make sure that we are going to add in the next episode. We work on this item so that we can add a new item, and then we'll also finish the warehouse, and then we'll also add the we'll go ahead and add in Prisma and MongoDB database, so that we can start actually saving this information inside the database. Okay, thank you so much for watching this episode. See you in the next one.